And welcome everyone to the Upper Keys BPW September virtual luncheon. Yes, we are still virtual. I am hoping that we were just talking about possibly things getting back to some semblance of normalcy. So we have been talking about the possibility of planning an in-person meeting. We are thinking about possibly trying to meet in person for our November meeting. We already have the October events are going to be virtual still, but we're thinking if the numbers continue to be good, we continue on the trends that we are on, we possibly might be able to actually get together. It will be so nice to be able to see each other in person. I do have a little poll. I'll put it back up later on, but if you don't mind, I am going to ask you all to complete the poll that is on your screen for us.
Even if we've already responded?
If you don't mind, Jackie, yeah, we're going to be doing a series of these because we know things are fluid. You know, even though someone, even a week ago, might have given one answer, today it could possibly be different. And I know we would have a few. So yeah, if you don't mind, and you may even get another one in your email here in a couple of weeks. Just still trying to judge what everyone wants to do and what is best for our membership and the community. So thank y'all. I'll pull that back up later when we get a few more people on, but I appreciate that. So we are going to start, as we always do, we start our meetings by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So I am going to put it on the screen. We have learned that unfortunately in a virtual meeting, it doesn't really work to have everyone say together. It gets a little awkward. So if you would, I'll go ahead and read it today. So if everyone just wants to read along or say it along silently to yourself. Start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and now I would like to make just a couple of announcements before we get going. We have some great events coming up. It's been, to be virtual, it seems like we're doing more events than we normally do, which is a good thing because we're able to bring people in, and I think a lot of people are looking for things to do while they're sitting at home. So this month, still, after the luncheon today, we still have a couple of events this month. Tomorrow evening, September 17th, we have Constitution Day. The Upper Keys BPW is partnering with the Upper Keys League of Women Voters to bring you this event. We partnered with them last year and did it live up at the Murray Nelson Government Center, which was a really great event. But it's going to be great virtual tomorrow night. I hope you'll all join us. We have some really good speakers. You're going to get to hear some information about the League of Women Voters, some information about BPW. The speaker that's going to be speaking with us is actually an ex-president, a former president of BPW State, and a former president of the League of Women Voters. So we're really happy to have that combined speaker with the experience there of both clubs. And I think it's just going to be a really great event. We have the essay contest for the students. We're going to be announcing the winners of those. So I really hope that you can join us for that. That is tomorrow night, the 17th at 5:30. Next week on the 24th, we have a series in our professional development series. Marine Lab is bringing us a workshop. They are actually going to be live out in the Florida Bay, and they're going to come to us via Zoom, and I think they're going to be actually like maybe picking up some critters from the bay and talking about the backcountry. So it should be very interesting. One of the items on the BPW public policy platform is environment. So this will be really interesting to bring that one in. A lot of times in our professional development series we focus more on, you know, the professional side, time management and things like that. So I'm really excited to mix it up a little and have Marine Lab present this for us. And at the end of the month, on the 30th, we're going to do our second coffee hour. If you were able to join us last month, we did our first one last month and it was really nice. We start at 8 in the morning, go to about 9:15. Cynthia Nizer, who's one of our directors, hosted it. She did a really great job. The theme is Tell Me Something Good. So the idea is that you start your morning off on a positive note. We go around the room, everyone gets a chance to talk, and we want you to tell us something good that's happening, will be happening, has happened, either in your personal life or your professional life. Just a way to keep things really positive. So we're excited to keep those going for the next 2 months. They will be on the last Wednesday of each month. And then in October, we have our historically, every election year in October, we do our big political forum, and we are not going to let that go, even though we will be virtual. We are still going to have the political forum. Gina Boylini, who is the committee chair for our public policy committee, has been contacting all of the candidates. We're getting good responses, so hopefully we will have most of the candidates attending with us. And as you know, we have a reputation for asking the tough questions of the candidates about issues that affect our community, and that will not change this year. We have a committee, we're already working on the questions. Look for an email. You will probably be asked to submit some questions between now and October. We also will have our Woman of the Year and Business of the Year awards coming up. You will be getting, I think next Monday, check your inbox for a nomination form to go ahead and start nominating our deserving women and businesses here in the Upper Keys. And you probably know the scholarships closed yesterday. We currently have 9 scholarship applications, so we were tickled with that. The scholarship committee will be meeting over the next month to pick the recipients for the scholarship award, and those will be announced at the October meeting. I want to thank, as you know, our scholarship fund is funded by our events, by our sponsors, our happy dollars, cheers and jeers that we normally do at our meetings. Since we're not having live meetings, that has been difficult. When you registered for this meeting, you probably noticed that there were a tier of reservation options. All of our virtual meetings are free. No one has to pay to attend, but there are options given if you want to donate. All of that money goes to our scholarship fund. And for this luncheon today, we did have one person who did go to the top superstar level, the $50 registration level, and that is our own Dennis Ward, state attorney. So Dennis, thank you so much for that. You will get a free e-blast for that. So just let me know when you want that to go out. We appreciate your support and your generosity. So those are all of the announcements that I had today. We thought that we did have a couple of new members joined us. Even in this time, not being able to meet in person, we are continuing to put on new members. We had 2 new members join us just in the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately they were not able to make the luncheon today. We had allowed a little bit of time to do an installation ceremony, but we are not going to have that. And since we are a smaller group, I am going to try something. It is just now 10 after, so we are running about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. So I would like to go around the room and do a really quick, let everyone introduce themselves. We are on limited time, so do try to keep it, just 1 or 2 minutes. Just introduce yourself, say who you are, what you've got going on. And since I know we missed that in our live events, not being able to have the cheers and jeers. So Terri, I know we're going to hear some more from you later, but you're the top in my top corner there. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to us this morning?
Well, thank you so much, Susie. So yes, I'm Terri Axford, and I am the new superintendent of schools for Monroe County. I've been working in the Monroe County schools since 1986. And so I've had a lot of experience working in the district, starting as a teacher, and then I became an assistant principal, a principal, and then I worked as the executive director of teaching and learning before doing this job. So I certainly do appreciate the fact that I've had all these years of experience. Given the situation that we're in right now, I don't really enjoy the fact that that's added many years to my life, but nevertheless, I am enjoying the fact that I have had experience at all those levels, because it certainly does come in handy. And I'm thrilled to be here with all of you today.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing you speak to us. Sandy, you want to say good morning?
Hi there, everyone. Thank you, Sandy Basiglia. I'm on the BPW board and on the scholarship committee, and I'm really proud of that because we have continued to award scholarships and receive applicants even during the pandemic. And we're helping a lot of young women and continue their learning in whatever field that is. And then just as an anecdote, I had the privilege of being a principal a while back with both Harry Russell, who's here today, and Terri Axford. So it's so nice to see you all in our continuing ongoing professional relationship.
Thank you, Sandy. Victoria?
Hi, I'm Victoria Leonard. I am on the board of the BPW as the VP of Hospitality, and I am also the Accounts Payable Specialist at Florida Keys Electric Co-op, and I'm just excited we get to be together today.
Dennis Ward?
Hello, everybody. Dennis Ward, State Attorney. Congratulations, Harry and Terri. I look forward to a great school year under your leadership. So that should be very, very well. As you know, I'm running for re-election, but the big note here, as far as this organization is concerned, is for the first time in the history of the State Attorney's Office, we have more women prosecutors than we do men. So that's a pretty good thing, and everything's running very, very good. So that must be the reason. So it's good to see you all.
I'm sure that's the reason, Dennis.
Yep.
Sue Woltansky, good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Sue Woltansky, Monroe County School Board, District 5. And I'm here to keep tabs on Harry and Terri.
Linda Weinstein?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Linda Weinstein. I'm the Development Director, Florida Keys Children's Shelter. Started working with them January, beginning of the year. And as you know, my year has been crazy like everyone else's. And I cannot thank Upper Keys Business Professional Women's Group enough because you bring a sense of sanity to the crazy. So I really appreciate all the support and excited for today's session.
Thank you, Linda. Kathy?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Brewer. I am a sales executive for a large commercial printer called Southeastern that's up in Miami, but luckily I work from home. I've worked from home before it was fun to work from home. So I've been doing it for a few years, but my specialty is direct mail and printing. But it's great to see everyone today. Thank you.
Kathy. And Harry, again, I know we're going to hear more from you later, but if you just want to introduce yourself.
Sure, that'd be fine. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of this presentation today. It's great to see everyone. I'm a product of the Monroe County school system, very proudly. Attended Point Siena Elementary School, Horace O'Brien Middle School, and I graduated from Key West High School in 1989. And I'll share a secret. Miss Axford was, I believe, my 11th grade English teacher. So it's been a great journey. I had a pleasure of teaching for 9 years at Horace O'Brien Middle School. Became an assistant principal up at Stanley Switlick and Marathon, was up there for a couple of years. Journeyed back to HOB, was an assistant principal there for a few years, and became principal, Marathon Middle and High School, was up there for 3 years. In the last 10 years, I served as principal of Sugarloaf School. So I have a ton of experience from pre-K through 12th grade. And it was really an honor when I went through the interview process and Ms. Axford offered me the position. I remember sharing with her one day that I was so excited to be part of the leadership team of her and also the first woman superintendent in Monroe County. I think it's an honor to be part of, shattering that glass ceiling and just being a part of an amazing leadership team. So that's my quick background, a little bit about who I am. I look forward to talking with you a little bit later on.
Great. Yeah, we're excited to hear what you and Terri both have to say to us today. Miss Jackie?
Hi, I'm Jackie Harder. I am a business owner of a coaching and business consulting business where I work with people to take the best from their employees and to give the best to their employees. And I also have a job helping small businesses in the tourism sector to promote themselves. So I'm really glad to be here. I am very delighted to see our very first female superintendent of schools. Yay. And also I just wanted to warn Linda. She says that she's, looking forward to, we bring some sanity to her life. Linda, just wait till you know us better. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, Jackie, now. Don't, we don't want to shatter her illusions, right? For those of you who have just joined us, we don't always have a chance to do this on our luncheons, but we're running a little ahead of a schedule, so we're giving everyone a chance just to introduce themselves real quickly. Teresa Sutter, you are next on my list.
All right, can you hear me now? Good, okay, because it's a new computer. It's my first Zoom meeting on this computer, so I didn't even have a chance to test it out. My name is Teresa Sutter. I'm a virtual assistant. I specialize in bookkeeping using the QuickBooks online platform. And I am excited to hear about what's going on with Monroe County schools. Even though I call myself an empty nester. I have no children in school or even in college anymore. But it's having our schools as part of our society is so critically important as to how we all work and live together. The schools are critically important, so I am anxious to hear what our speakers have to say. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Craig Cates, thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. We're having a commission meeting today, so at 1 o'clock I'll have to leave. But yeah, I'm running for District 1 Commissioner in Monroe County, but I was lucky enough to be appointed by the governor to fill out the remaining 11 months of Commissioner Coolidge when he resigned early. So it's a difficult time, but I'm happy to be there to help. And I also am a product of Monroe County school system. My wife also, and I have 3 daughters went through the school system, and my granddaughter is in there now. And I'm very happy to have Ms. Axford there as our superintendent, and I know they're going to be doing great things. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do.
Was she your 11th grade teacher too? Sorry.
No.
Brittany, you're up.
Hi there, my name is Brittany Parker. I was referred to this group by Keith Bannock. I am the Program and Development Manager at the Good Health Clinic. So I've been joining these last couple months, and I'm really having a great time learning what everyone does, and it's quite the honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Hi, I'm Cynthia Nizer. I'm on the board of the BPW, and sort of fit squarely in the category of a business and professional woman. I have 2 businesses. I own Amore Dive Center, which is at the Amore Dive Resort just at 104, and I'm also a public adjuster, which means that I help people with their insurance claims. So it's a bit of a crazy day. We've got a Cat 2 that hit northern Florida this morning, and which I'm like, do I go? Don't I go? So that's going on. And of course, my new business in diving. I also have 2 kids, and very happy to say that my daughter attended physical school starting Monday. She's a freshman at Coral Shores. And also very excited to say that my son Finn is going to be going physically to school on Monday at Treasure Village. So I'm interested in what you have to say as a business professional, owner, and a parent in this community. So thank you for coming to talk to us today. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all you're doing for our schools too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cynthia. Jill?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jill. I own a Lucky Fish Scuba, which is another dive business here in the Keys. We have a private charter boat where we take groups of 4 divers only, very small, and or up to 6 snorkelers and sunset cruises. We're up at 106 at Garden Cove Marina near Buzzard's Roost. And I also have a consulting business in communications in agriculture science communications, something completely different. But on top of all that, I'm also on the board of BPW. I'm the secretary this year, and it's just amazing to see everybody's faces, and really proud of how we're all showing up for each other, you know, in the best way that we can in this crazy season. Good to see you guys.
Great, thank you, Jill. Margie?
Hello, everyone. Well, first, Thank you, Terry and Harry, for being here. Congratulations on your new job. Very exciting. I guess I have a lot of different relationships with the school system. My two kids are at Treasure Village Montessori in 7th grade and Coral Shores that just again started on Tuesday. I have a sophomore as well. And on the business community side, I'm a business consultant with a small business development center at FIU, which provides at no cost business consulting throughout the entire Keys to many, many small businesses. So I'm working up and down the Keys with many businesses and happily not traveling as much as usual. So that's been great. And BPW has been a great resource. I've been a longtime member. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say, both from the business standpoint. My husband is the founder of Isla Morada Investment Management in Isla Morada. So as a family that relies on a local business of our own for a lot of our income, and as well as someone who works with a lot of businesses, I'm really looking to see what you all have to say on a couple of other fronts and beyond the parenting message. So thank you so much for all of your efforts. I know it's been a crazy time preparing for the school year.
Thank you, Margie. Let's see, Mary Roth, I see you on there. Would you like to say hello to us? Mary? We'll move on. How about Alana Dixon? Alana, would you like to come off mute and say hello?
Hi, everyone. My name is Elena. I have a couple different roles in the community, but I've attended a few meetings. I was the proud recipient of the BPW scholarship back in the spring. So I try to join as much as possible because it's been such a wonderful thing. And I'm happy to join. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. I'm glad that you're coming on. Mary, we'll give you another shot. Are you able to come on? How about Laurel?
Can you hear me now?
Mary, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi. You can't see me, but you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you. We just can't see your pretty face.
I have a new computer, and for some reason, I don't think it has a camera. So anyway, my name is Mary Roth. I am a business owner. I own an insurance agency, Houston Insurance Agency. I'm in Isla Morada, Florida. I have over 18 years of experience, and I joined this club so obviously I could get myself out there and meet people. And I have two kids that just started yesterday, one at PKS, my 8th grader girl, and then I have a senior, a son at Coral Shores. So I'm very interested in hearing what's going on and excited that they are back, and hope it all turns out well, and look forward to today's meeting.
Great. Thank you, Mary. All right, we have just 2 or 3 more minutes, but I see we've had a few more people come in. Laurel, would you like to say hello?
Okay, sure. Hello. Assistant at Center for Independent Living of the Keys. I know a few members through Facebook, and I just wanted to hop on and say hello and to see what our community is doing. Thank you.
We're glad you've joined us. I know you've made a couple of our meetings, so we're happy to have you today. Pam Feeser, you want to say hello?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Living Springs Counseling, and just let y'all know that we are still having all of our sessions through telehealth, virtual sessions, and we also have a spiritually social group, we have Bible studies, and we're getting ready to start a support group for people who have lost loved ones due to an overdose. So if you're interested in that, and our phone number has changed. It is 305-731-5243.
Pam, if you want to send me something with your new phone number, I'll make a post for you to get that out.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
We appreciate everything you do. So I think that is everyone. There is one person on the phone that I don't see a name. It's a 202 area code.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, I bring you greetings from African Dance by Femi. My name is MK Femi Manners, and I live currently in the Upper Keys. I am a 2019 awards grantee of the Anne McKee Artist Fellowship for Performing Arts. I am also a substitute extraordinaire with the Monroe County Public School System, working at Glen Archer and Reynolds School, Horace O'Brien, Poinciana Elementary School, Gerald Adams Elementary School, Key West High, Marathon Middle High School, Sigsbee Charter School with their first bucking drumming corps, the Sugarloaf School, the Stanley Swislick School, Core High School, Plantation Key, Key Largo School, and also Treasure Village, the Children's School in Key West, the Florida Keys Children's Shelter, as well as the Key Largo Library. So I'm so glad to be on the line, and I'm so happy to hear other educators on the line today. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. My goodness, you get around the Keys.
Yes, yes, yes. And I can teach any subject with percussion instruments, songs, puppets, dance, and movement.
Wow.
Wow. Well, great. Well, thanks everyone. I'm glad we had a chance to do that. I know we missed that at our live meetings, and we don't always have time to do this on our virtual meetings, but it's been nice to hear from everyone today. But now, without further ado, I know that we're all here to find out what these fabulous speakers have to tell us today. So Terry, Harry, I'm not sure if you had decided who was going to go first, but the floor is yours.
Oh, well, so thank you so much. And Harry, if it's all right with you, I'm going to go first.
Yep.
And I just want to really talk to you about two things. And the first is the path back to school and how we traveled along that path. And then I just want to talk to you a little bit about the concept of can we grow during challenging times. And so our path back to school started back in May with the development of a 53-member community-focused task force. And I'm really happy to say that both Sandy Basiglia and Elena Dixon were members of that task force. And the task force met throughout the summer. And of course, the focus was on getting back to school safely. And I would say that our pathway has been fraught with boulders along the way because there was so much information lacking in terms of how we were supposed to proceed safely. And I think everyone over the last 6 months has been engaged in learning how to understand the COVID-19 virus. I never thought that I would become an expert on something, but when you spend 20 of your 24 hours a day reading and studying and trying to figure out, how this can be managed, you become a little bit of an expert. So we had, as Sandy mentioned early, 51 members on this task force, and we had chamber presidents, we had Rotary presidents, we had health department officials, we had medical experts, and we divided ourselves into groups of based on topics. And so we looked at general considerations like a communication plan, and we looked at school operations, what we were going to have to do at the school level to try to be safe. We wanted to work with whole child supports because we knew that our students had gone through a trauma in not being in school for all these months. And we knew that they were going to need some TLC coming back and that there were going to be issues beyond just attending school. So we wanted to make sure that those supports were in place. Of course, we were deeply concerned about academics and the time that students had spent. We knew our virtual program in the spring, although we tried to do our very best, there are just a lot of issues with virtual instruction that are variables that you can't control. For instance, the Google Classroom goes down and the student is waiting there and wants to participate but can't because the technology isn't working. So there's lots of different glitches that you have to deal with. And so the other committee was distance learning. So we met throughout the entire summer and we came up with a plan, and we were able to present that final product to the school board on July the 28th. During the month of July, we spent $150,000, $15,000 at every site with personnel visiting every classroom to create those, to follow those social distancing guidelines. So if you go into one of our classrooms today, you would see markings and various indications of children being socially distanced. So I've been in every school from Marathon down in these first 2 days, and I'm going to the Upper Keys schools starting next Tuesday, just reviewing things to make sure that, you know, what we have talked about is actually taking place. So I'm excited to say that we've got such dedicated teachers and administrators that the schools look really good. And, you know, we have asked, we're trying to control, well, we're trying to control everything, quite honestly. It's a lot, but we haven't been having parents come into the buildings at this time because we don't want to have a whole lot of exposure. We're trying to control the student environment. So, but you would be very pleased with what you see. And, you know, back in July, when we presented the plan to the board, case counts were so high that at that time we decided that we were going to go virtual for the start of school. And our virtual program was excellent starting out. And but then, you know, our case counts started to improve, and we knew that issues with technology were still upsetting many parents and lots of students who just couldn't manage virtual instruction. So with the support of the school board, we have started a slow phase in to school once again. And so on August 31st, we brought back our vulnerable populations. Well, actually, when we brought teachers back on August the 6th, which was the reporting date for teachers, prior to that, we had polled all the teachers to find out if they had underlying conditions. And so we worked with those teachers, and as most school districts are doing, we're trying to make opportunities for them and have been successful in creating opportunities for them to teach virtually. And so our virtual program has grown over this period. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that just shortly. So we brought our vulnerable populations back on the 31st of August. We had already had our daycare for teachers because we knew with teachers coming back to work, they were going to need that support. So we brought students back whose parents were members of the staff, and there were about 250 of those. And then we brought back on August 31st our vulnerable students. And these were students who, for various reasons, had not been able to be successful in the spring, or they had, they were ELs, they were homeless, they were kids who were at risk, and we knew that they were going to need a little extra support. So we brought those students in on August the 31st, and we've been really successful with helping them acclimate to what school looks like now. And, you know, all along the way, we've been watching to make sure that all the rules were being followed. So, you know, as we were going along, we were gathering information about what it was going to be like as we brought more students back. So the week of September 7th, we had orientations at every building. In some buildings, they were virtual, but in many buildings, they were face-to-face. And students had an opportunity to practice their social distancing, to wear their masks, to understand the importance of hygiene at this time and frequent hand washing. And so, and we have reduced class sizes, so that caused some scheduling changes because we wanted to make sure that those classrooms were always socially distanced. And we've been very successful with each of these. And then on the 14th, which was just this past Monday, we had all students return. And I am really excited because at all the buildings that I visit, the students are, they're very happy to be back. And I will tell you that there's a difference in the students. I would say that they are subdued to some extent. I believe that, I told you earlier, I felt that they had experienced some trauma. I think that that's very true. And, I hope that they will become gleeful and show more happiness as we move along. But I just feel that they have experienced this long time away from school and away from their friends and their normal schedule. And it's going to take a while for them to really fully adjust once again. So I'm very, as I said earlier, I'm very proud of everything that our administrators and teachers are doing. And one thing that has changed is that many parents, and they have until September 30th to make a decision about this, they've decided to remain virtual. And so we have around 300, about 140 in elementary and 170 in 612 who decided to remain virtual. And so I do believe that education is going to change based on this pandemic, and that people are going to actualize themselves in making more choices going forward. And so I know parents have made this choice right now based on COVID-19, but I think that society is going to look different going forward, and people are going to look at their options differently. And so I think we can be very successful in Monroe County in providing virtual instruction. And so we're excited to have this opportunity to develop that, because you all see the commercials for K-12 education and all the different virtual options that are being advertised on television. But to me as the superintendent, this has been created out of necessity, but it also is an area that could be cultivated and developed. And so we had a meeting about our virtual program yesterday, and we're continuing to work with teachers to help them make choices. So so it's been a real balancing act, trying to adjust everything to support the different needs that exist. And so all I can say is wish me luck going forward, because we keep trying to meet the needs as they arise. And of course, our teachers are heroic. I mean, every classroom that I go into, I ask them if they feel safe, and I kind of pull them aside to find out. And obviously, I'm not a total. I am dealing with reality. I know that we will probably have cases, and I'm just hoping against hope that all the measures that we've put in place are going to really limit that a lot. And of course, we're going to be very strategic and manage and you know, we've got things in place to contact trace, you know, working very closely with the health department. And I can remember a positive relationship with our health department over the years. I remember when there was well, just last year, there was a meningitis outbreak at the Navy Child Development Center, and the health department managed that completely. And, you know, they were on the phone relentlessly tracing contacts in that case. And then there was a case up at the Keys, up the Keys, where, you know, there was a suspected contagious illness, and they were with us every minute, directing us and helping us move forward. And I know Sandy will remember this, but you know, I was part of the team that worked to get a nurse in every school. And I think, you know, right now, I can't even tell you how happy I am that we do have a nurse in every school, and that we've also worked with the area health group and have AHEC clinics throughout the Keys, because, you know, just as much as schools are centers for education, they really are centers for health as well. You know, with all the testing that we do and the hearing screenings that we provide, the inoculations, you know, all those programs are really, really important to the school and the community. So I think that we are in a good place now, and we just have to remain ever vigilant and continue to follow our plan and just do everything that we can to keep students safe. We're reducing the number of people on the bus. You know, our buses run usually 60 or 70 students, and we've reduced that to between 26 and 28. So we're definitely creating social distancing there. We created a traffic backup, I was telling Dennis earlier, because we've encouraged parents to drive. So there was some congestion in the drop-offs, and we backed up on US 1 a little bit, but we've got that under control now. So I think that we're in pretty good shape. So I've been working with my planning team. I created a superintendent's planning team. And, you know, superintendents aren't usually so immersed in, although of course we always are concerned about school safety, but not to the level that, you know, we are right now. And, you know, they're more often focused on curriculum and closing achievement gaps and, you know, looking at the academic side of things and supporting students, you know, socially and emotionally, but academically. And so I wanted to kind of focus my leadership team on looking at things a little differently and kind of pulling us out of COVID-19 world and going into the world of our future. And so, you know, I asked them the question, can we grow during challenging times? And I think that, you know, we all have been so immersed in understanding our current situation that, you know, it kind of forestalls your look towards the future. And so we started to do a little small SWOT analysis, and that is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And they were asking, you know, their constituents. I guess we had about 350 participate. So with a 1,000-member district, that's about a third. But we wanted it to be informal and just get some idea about what people thought about what are the strengths of the district. And so this was really interesting because it came up that one of our strengths was our dedicated staff. And so I thought, well, that's really good because it's energizing to understand that people really feel that that's one of our strengths. And the other one was the dedication and commitment that people show to their jobs, and also a very energizing and positive thought. And then lastly, it came out that our communication was really good. And so I thought all of that was very interesting. And so we did some reading, and everyone has experienced those things. There are books out in education where you can't just be happy with being good. You have to try to get from good to great. So we talked about polishing the pearl. So you know what your strengths are, but what is really good with your strengths is to make them even better by polishing the pearl. So we did develop some ideas to polish that pearl. And in terms of staff, we decided that, we recognize people on a regular basis, but we don't recognize all of the folks. So we decided that we were going to do a weekly spotlight on a staff member. And that spotlight, they were going to be randomly selected. So it could be anyone. And with a lot of our recognition, we tend to focus on teachers because there are more of them. But, we have this huge group of people that provide supports. So our spotlight is going to be on those who are randomly selected. And what we're going to do a little profile on that person. We're going to put it on our website once a week. So that's one way we're going to polish the pearl. Another thing that we're going to do is to recognize people from our community who have supported us. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate our community and the commitment and dedication that they have to our school system. So we're going to do some community spotlights and more recommendations or recognition of community members in our monthly school board meetings. And then there's that communication piece, and you'll be interested in this because when we analyzed our weaknesses, guess what came up? Now, it came up as a strength and it came up as a weakness. So I'm a communications person, and I just find that so interesting because all of you probably know that you can never communicate enough. And so the things that have happened to us, I think that are kind of interesting about that is how important social media is. And I only went on Facebook to see what my kids were doing and my grandkids. I wasn't really a Facebook person. But I realize now that it is extremely important. And how I know this is that we've been doing some Facebook Live sessions. We started with how are we doing right after we started with virtual, and we had 1,500 parents view it, and then many participants, and we were able to answer a lot of questions and just really support them. Then we had one on family and teacher support and the kinds of supports that we were putting in place, from a social emotional standpoint, and the support groups that were available to parents and teachers. Once again, we had a huge participation. And then lastly, I just went on Facebook Live last week with Holly Hummel-Gorman, who's the president of United Teachers of Monroe, and we talked about safety practices. Once again, up to 1,500 views. So, as an organization, I was a member of the Florida Keys Council of the Arts, and I was their chair for a number of years. And, I wish I knew then what I know now about the importance of organizations using social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. And then the other thing that I've learned is how effective these virtual meetings can be. And, you know, we travel all over the Keys. We were having all of our meetings in marathons so that the folks from the upper Keys could drive an hour and the lower Keys could drive an hour or so. And we would meet there in person. And of course, you know, we know the value of an in-person meeting, and I can't wait to come to one of yours, you know, when we get face-to-face again. But we can't forget that these virtual opportunities can be very effective, and it certainly can be better than driving an hour if you've got something to deal with that is, you know, needs to be handled right away, and the hour drive would hold you back. So I've learned a lot about management in terms of this virtual world. So I'm excited about continuing to polish the pearl and to look at, and then we're going to also address some of our weaknesses that came up. And as I said, communication is one. So we're going to continue to work really hard to make sure that, you know, our websites and all of our tools are used to communicate with our publics. So I don't know if I've gone too long, but I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be glad to answer them.
Terry, I was wondering if it's okay, maybe we should go ahead and let Harry speak, and then we can have questions at the end for you both, if that's okay.
Thank you, Susie. That would be great.
I am going to attempt to share my screen real quick. I have a very short PowerPoint. If somebody could just let me know if they see the screen.
We got it, yeah.
All right, very good. Ms. Axford, that's a tough act to follow. I will do my best. So first and foremost, again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this meeting today and spend a little bit of time talking with you. Again, I'm the Executive Director of Personnel Support and Instructional Leadership. In a COVID-19 world, one thing that has me extremely busy is the human resources side. So part of my presentation is going to focus on recruitment and retention of teachers and kind of how we're doing on that front under COVID-19 environment. I will also share, along what Ms. Axford said, I had an opportunity to visit Sugarloaf School, Point Siena, Horace O'Brien, and Key West High School on Monday. What a Herculean effort. Very proud of everything that I've seen in person. The amount of preparation and preparedness from a safety standpoint, having those procedures and protocols in place so that teachers were ready to execute that with the students as they showed up on Monday, and to see that firsthand in action at those sites was just amazing. And months and months and months of hard work from top to bottom went into that effort. And some days it felt like, you know, after 27 years in education, it felt like we were reinventing school some days. And it's been a big effort, but very proud to see that effort in action. We'll be up in the Upper Keys next week. Looking forward to visiting those schools as well. We'll continue educating kids in this challenging time, no doubt. Real quick, I'm going to just, again, go through a short PowerPoint. I'm going to focus a little bit about our new teacher orientation program that we do every year in August, talk just slightly about recruitment, a little bit of survey data from the new teacher orientation. I plucked out a few of those questions, and we'll share some of the relevant data with you that I feel you'd want to know about. Talk a little bit about a Power BI project that we have going with our personnel. And also we are in the process of developing and going live with a COVID-19 dashboard that I'm sure you'll be eager to hear about. And we'll talk about that one towards the end of the presentation. From a recruitment standpoint, we're all over the World Wide Web. When we hire folks, they do a little survey for us, and Indeed is a big one that teachers or a lot of our recruitment comes through that particular feed, and also our website's another big one. But those are some of the, I guess, footprints you could say that we have out there on the World Wide Web. We do use the Citizen as well. We're advertising always for substitutes, bus drivers, and right now a couple bus mechanics as well as an example of how we utilize the local newspaper to help us with that. So back in August, actually before that, we were having to make the transition like everyone else to this virtual environment in human resources. And with all of our new teacher hires, we always had our new teacher orientation in person, and, you know, ran through a lot of very informative information about our county, anything from benefits to teacher evaluation and things along those lines. and had a lot of wonderful vendors and business partners that work with us to make this happen every year. Well, our team, when I came on board in June and officially started in July, they were well underway already planning a virtual new teacher orientation. And I have to tell you, it was very successful. We had about 65 participants. They were teachers both from traditional public schools as well as our charter schools. And out of those participants, 42 people completed the survey. So what I wanted to do was to pluck out a few of those questions and share with you. So this first survey question simply says, why did you choose Monroe County School District for your new position? And I always gravitate down to number 7 there, aspired to work for a high-ranking Florida school district like Monroe County, which was about half of the respondents. And I say, you know, if you build it, they will come. We have been a very successful school district for a long time. And under Ms. Axford's leadership, we will continue to build and grow. And maybe one day we could say we're number 1 in the whole state of Florida. But we have an outstanding school system. I always suggest to parents and community members, all you have to do is go to any of our grad nights at the high schools, and you can see firsthand the end product of a school system and watch those kids excel and all the scholarships that they earn, going off to various colleges and universities all over the country, military academies, trade schools. It's really impressive to see that. Several of you mentioned, you know, you have scholarships that you hand out, and that's always a part of that process. So again, outstanding school district, and I think the survey kind of captures that a little bit, that question. The second one, of course, is salary. You know, you have to pay bills, and as we all know, it's very expensive to live down here. So it says, please describe your satisfaction with the salary you were offered. And the bulk of the folks here and the respondents said they were either satisfied or highly satisfied with the salary. Starting pay is $48,500 here in Monroe County. And we continue to always look to improve that when we have that opportunity. Another survey question that is a big topic here in the Keys, of course, is workforce housing. And so this particular question tries to get a gauge from new hires down here. What kind of luck did they have finding a home or a house or apartment or whatever their status might be, and were they satisfied with the particular, you know, working conditions that they were able to obtain for themselves. And, you know, overall, it looks like folks were pretty happy, but others found it a bit challenging, which is to be expected to some extent. I know as a former principal, I have a lot of conversations anytime I was looking to hire somebody that was from out of state. And a lot of the questions would center on, you know, did you do your homework? Are you familiar with the cost of living in the Keys? And, you know, those types of things. But we always worked hard to help our employees find, you know, suitable living space. Also, we are in the process, if you're not aware, at Sugarloaf School, we're getting ready to start an affordable housing project there. I shouldn't say start, because for the last 2 years or so, we've been going through all the proper planning for that. So if everything goes well, sometime in the future, we should be breaking ground there. A little project that we've been working on in our HR department is a program called Power BI. Power BI, I call it Excel on steroids. On the district webpage, if you go under where it says My District, there's a Power BI set up for student demographics. And if you want to know like the number of students in a particular school, male, female, race, ethnicity, and things like that, you can pretty easily access that. Well, there is not that information for our employees. So I've been working the last several weeks with a couple other of our team to develop this Power BI that's going to house all of our employee information. So in the near future, hopefully no later than the end of this month, you should, as a community member and a taxpayer, if you want to know more about our employees and what that looks like, demographic, race, ethnicity, years of experience, level of college education, bachelor's versus master's versus specialist versus doctorate. All of that information should be at your fingertips, and that's the goal of Power BI here with this project. So the next few slides are just some screenshots of sort of what it looks like. It's a matter of clicking boxes. It'll list out the facilities, the job classification. You can click multiple boxes at one time if you're not familiar with Power BI, and then it will generate the graph for you in the particular numbers. Now, in the upper left-hand corner, I added this information in here. It's just to give you an overall update. We currently are at 627 teachers or instructional staff. We've made 46 new hires this year, and that is only traditional public. That's not counting charter. We had 10 teachers who've retired since the end of last school year up until now. we had 27 teachers relocate, and we had 9 teachers that resigned. And we currently have 14 openings. All of those numbers that are sitting there are pretty, looking back at being the new guy on the job, looking back the last few years, are pretty consistent with where we've been the last few years. So nothing I would say earth shattering there per se from a number standpoint. And COVID really has not had a big adverse impact on people leaving the district and retiring or quitting or anything like that, which makes me feel very good and reassures me that the months and months and months of working and planning and Ms. Axford's task force, all of the effort that's gone into this thing has, most of our employees feeling pretty confident about coming back to work. And as Ms. Axford did mention, for the ones that aren't comfortable or have that significant underlying health condition, we've been able to try to find alternative ways for them to be able to still teach and do whatever other work in the school district that their job entails for them to do. This is an example of another slide. This one is race information. As you can tell, as an entire school district are Black and African American, we're at about 7%. I can tell you that is an area as an HR leader that I want to continue to work on as a school district and see what we can do to improve our minority hires in our school district and especially in the classroom. I always felt that our teaching demographics should try to somewhat mirror the demographics of our student population. So that's a long-term goal that I'll have as I continue to work in our HR department. Employee race and ethnicity. Again, this gives you an idea of how this particular screenshot was sorted. It shows you our Hispanic ethnicity, Latino, in the bottom right-hand side there in blue for our traditional and public schools, and the number of percentage and breakout for just our public schools. And the next slide is the same information, but it's by ethnicity, by charter. And it kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. And then last but not least, to close this up, we are developing a COVID-19 dashboard. I actually met today with Dr. Murphy and Amy Flaherty, and we're in the final phases of getting this wrapped up. It's the intent, we'll have the dashboard on our website and hopefully a nice prominent location. Anyone in the community will be able to see that and see what we're looking like as far as COVID-19 cases goes. The site will be up on a Friday. It will be updated every Friday. We'll be tracking staff numbers, student numbers, location of the particular cases. So by school, for example, but obviously for HIPAA and privacy reasons, it'll only be numbers and it'll only list the particular work location. But we're excited about the transparency. We want to make sure that our parents and our community understand clearly that if we are having any kind of cases, where those cases are happening and taking place, and allowing everyone to stay informed and work with us as a community. So with that being said, that concludes my part of the presentation, a little bit in the weeds, I guess, but hopefully a quick update on personnel status for the school system and a couple of projects we're working on in HR with Power BI, projects with the dashboard, COVID-19 dashboard, and our personnel dashboard as well. So with that being said, I think Ms. Axford and I are ready for questions.
Thank you so much, Harry and Terry. While we're letting people queue up some questions, I am going to reshare the poll real quick that I had put up earlier while we still have people on. If you don't mind taking a look. Can everyone see the poll on the screen? If you can just let us know how you feel about attending a live meeting or not. And now we are opening up the floor for questions for our speakers today. Would someone like to come off mute and ask a question?
Yes, I have a question. When do you sleep?
Thanks.
Well, I can tell you, it's the last couple of weeks, it's been up at 2 o'clock and I'm up for, it feels like 2 or 3 hours, and I try to go back to sleep for an hour, but you know, I won't speak for Ms. Axford, but it's definitely a weightless night.
You come back in. Thanks.
I'm trying to practice better sleep habits, really. Working on it.
You know, it's bad when you start seeing emails at 4 and 5 in the morning. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Can I jump in with a quick question? if you can hear me, yes?
Yep.
So thank you for everything you're doing in support of both families and students throughout this county. Again, logistically, it's challenging and there are a lot of new things you're doing. I'm really excited to see how much you're really taking advantage of what's out there in social media. I think that's really important on the communications front. And one of the things I'm hoping that it does to transform your organization, like many others, we know that public institutions that are countywide in the Keys are really challenged to draw from a population. And this is really more area in your area, draw from a population as potential candidates for positions throughout the entire Keys. I think that Monroe County school district has been particularly lopsided when it comes to drawing candidates from primarily the lower Keys. So I'm hoping that this experience is something that helps you to track another metric, and that is, where do our candidates, where do the people we recruit from come from? Because I think you'll find that in the past, there have been barriers, the way we recruit, to getting people from the upper Keys that may be more than qualified for some of the administration and management positions, the ones that are not location-based.
Yeah, the geography can definitely be challenging at times, but I think you're right. I think the rediscovery of some of the newer technologies might help as well. And I think that's a good point you're making.
Because you're really the biggest employer, in the Keys.
Yep.
So that's an important thing to remember, in addition to all the important services, critical services you offer to families. So again, thank you for your work and all of that, but I'd like you to be an advocate for remaining conscious of that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you,
the tip on that.
Margie. I appreciate that.
Cool. Sorry, one other question?
Go ahead, Margie. Yeah.
Sorry, one other, and that was nurses. So are charter schools on their own to fund the nurse position? Because we don't have one at Treasure Village Montessori. I realize they may have a choice about whether to have it, but is there funding for all of the schools for that?
We work with our charters, Margie, but we don't provide the funding for charter schools with nurses. The health department has two nurses that they fund, and we fund the rest of the nurses from the school district. So, but we do work with our charter schools to provide all the services except for a full-time nurse on site. So, but we do make sure that they get all the screenings and, the dental screenings, the health screenings, the inoculations and all. So we have a really good partnership with that.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Jill.
Yeah, just a comment, two comments maybe. One, thanks for this. I don't have a kid in school here, and I learned a lot about what you all are doing here to keep the community vibrant and healthy and moving forward. And I'm just really impressed by what I've heard about helping those who are more in need to get back on their own pace and with some extra help, and also the efforts to improve the diversity of the employees there. My comment, I was just thinking as you were talking about all of these systems, we are in a vulnerable position from hurricanes. We all hope that we're going to get through this one without something epic happening. But it just struck me that everything that we're putting in place now with this virtual learning in school and ability to keep those kind of things going should certainly serve us well. God forbid we have something like that affect our community as well. So again, just thanks, and make me proud to be a Monroe County citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think you make a great point, because, a couple of years back, we dealt with, of course, Hurricane Irma, all of us to some extent, some worse than others. But one thing we learned as a community is resiliency. And we come together through times of crisis up and down the Keys. And so many of us, all of you, are a part in that recovery effort. And I sort of look at this in a similar way, in that we're all having to work together, in this case, to deliver the safest, most effective education program for our students and our staff. And we can't do it alone. And going back again to Ms. Axford's task force, we have people from all walks of life that were part of that. And again, the resiliency through times of crisis and watching our community come together time and time again is really something to see. And it's unrivaled, in my opinion, to any other place in this country.
Yeah, I would agree with Harry. Just listening to all of you give your brief bio this morning, it's so it's so humbling in a way, you know, to know that we've got such tremendous folks in our community. And I am constantly amazed by the professionals and the commitment and just the work that we do here in the Keys. I think Carrie's right. You know, it's a very, very special community, and you know, there's reasons why they talk about Keys strong. It's because we are.
That's right, we are, right? So I love that, Jill. That was a really good observation. I think we've all talked about how this new normal that we're in right now, becoming so dependent on virtual meetings and virtual communication. When things do go back to normal, I think we've learned a lot that we can continue to carry forward, the way that we are able to come together in a different way. It's always better to be in person, of course, but it's nice that we have this. And for those of us who travel up and down the Keys on a regular basis, this could be make some of our meetings a lot easier. But we are getting close. We were scheduled till 1:15, so we are 2 minutes from ending, so we make good time. Thank you so much to our speakers. Terri, I just wanted to say to you, Ms. Axford, that one thing that you said really struck me. I love your question, can we grow during challenging times? And that is something I'm going to be putting a lot of thought into. I really like that. So before we end, we're going to close as we always do by saying our collect. Sandy Bisceglia is going to lead us in that. I am going to put it on the screen. Again, we have just learned that virtually it doesn't work as well for us all to try to say it together. Let me see if I can make that bigger for you, Sandy, so you can. How's that? So
Perfect.
everyone would just read along with Sandy.
Thank you. Keep us, O God, from pettiness. Let us be large in thought, in word, in deed. Let us be done with fault finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away all pretense and meet each other face to face without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always generous. Let us take time for all things. Make us grow calm, serene, and gentle. Teach us to put into action our better impulses, straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life we are one. And may we strive to touch and know the great, the common human heart of us all. And, O Lord God, let us forget not to be kind.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to our speakers. This has been very informative. It was so great to see all of your faces. If you didn't complete the poll, please do that before you leave. Hopefully, we will be seeing you in person in a couple of months. Don't forget all the great events coming up, upperkeysbpw.org. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.